One of the things we wanted to do is sort of take a look out into the future, what the grid should be, now that we have different technologies that can support a microgrid. There could be microgrids for municipalities, like the old munis. Certainly colleges have them. The state of Connecticut is pushing microgrids. So we'd like to understand what the potential is and then step back and see if we can help the regulators write policies and regulations to support that.
The future practical grid for this country will not be based on large power companies, will not be based on large transmission lines, will be based on the little guy building CHP, having his loads, managing his loads, being efficient, because this is where we have to go. That 30–40% efficiency of the large power plant has to go. It's not where the country will put the money in the future. We have to go 80+% efficiency on all our equipment, including the power equipment.
Because of the way the regulatory scheme is now, most of the existing microgrids have a single campus with a single owner, whether that's a military base or a big pharmaceutical campus or a college campus. When you try to do things in a community, I think there's going to be a lot of different answers, and it could be the community, it could be third parties, public-private partnerships I think will definitely play a role here. I think utilities, especially through unregulated subsidiaries, are likely to want to play a role here.
We have a lot of combined heat and power, combined cooling heat and power in hospitals. Very frequently the hospital is at the heart of a medical complex. So it's kind of ridiculous if we have the most efficient, best, most reliable energy system for a hospital and the acute care facility next to it and the senior care facility next to that and the off-site surgical suite, which is next to that, don't. So, if we were able to develop that complex as a microgrid, we would have a far better system for that application. The other group that is a natural microgrid and is an existing group are the municipal utilities and the co-ops. A lot of them have generation, some of them don't. To be a true microgrid, though, we want the capability of that microgrid to be able to separate from the grid and operate on its own in an emergency, which means that you design the electrical distribution, the coordination, and the generation differently. But they already own the wires, they already have the system in place. To take a municipal utility up to being a microgrid is a relatively easy lift compared to some of the other things we do. And they should be a natural ally to this movement, because whatever they save doesn't erode, doesn't hurt anybody. It just saves their customers, and their customers are their citizens when you have a muni.